Savannah Guthrie's husband quietly walked into the heart of morning television, and what happened next was not planned for cameras, not meant for headlines, and not designed to go viral. Yet it became one of the most emotional and meaningful moments connected to the Today Show in recent memory. This is the full story of how Savannah Guthrie's husband, Mike Feldman, made a private visit to the Today Show studios to deliver a very special message, and why that message left so many people in tears. Savannah Guthrie is not just a television anchor. For millions of viewers, she is a familiar presence every morning, a steady voice during breaking news, and a calm guide through moments of national uncertainty. She has built her career on trust, warmth, and professionalism, showing up day after day no matter what headlines dominate the news cycle. But in recent weeks, Savannah has not been sitting behind the anchor desk, and her absence has been deeply felt by both viewers and her colleagues. Behind the scenes, Savannah has been living through one of the most painful experiences any adult child can face. Her mother, Nancy Guthrie, went missing in Arizona, and what began as concern quickly escalated into fear. Law enforcement investigations intensified, family statements grew heavier, and the possibility that answers might not bring relief became harder to ignore. Savannah stepped away from the show to focus entirely on her family, her children, and the search for her mother. While Savannah remained out of the public eye, the Today Show continued. Cameras rolled, scripts were read, segments aired, but inside the building something was different. Colleagues were worried, producers checked in. Staff members sent messages that often went unanswered, not because Savannah did not care, but because grief and fear can drain a person's ability to respond, even to kindness. And that is where Mike Feldman stepped in. Mike Feldman is not a public figure in the way his wife is. He works in communications and media, but he has always stayed largely out of the spotlight. He does not do interviews. He does not seek attention. He is known among those close to the family as steady, supportive, and deeply protective of Savannah and their children. So when he quietly arrived at the Today Show studios, it was not for publicity, it was for gratitude. According to those who were present, Feldman's visit was unannounced. There was no advance notice, no press release, no cameras following him through the halls. He came simply to speak to the people who work with Savannah every day. The producers, the crew, the staff members who show up before sunrise and who have become, over time, a second family to her. The message he carried was simple, but it carried enormous weight. Thank you. Thank you for supporting Savannah. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for helping in ways no one sees on television. Thank you for being there when life stopped feeling normal. People inside the studio described the atmosphere as emotional almost immediately. Hugs replaced handshakes, conversations paused, tears flowed freely. This was not a workplace moment, it was a human one. Feldman reportedly went from person to person, expressing appreciation on behalf of his wife and their family, acknowledging that Savannah might not have the energy or emotional capacity to say these words herself right now. For many staff members, hearing that gratitude out loud mattered deeply. In high-pressure television environments, work moves fast. People rarely stop to acknowledge emotional labor. But during Savannah's absence, that labor had been constant. Colleagues had stepped up quietly. Some helped coordinate schedules. Others sent food. Some offered childcare assistance. Many simply held space for Savannah without demanding anything in return. Feldman's visit validated all of it. To understand why this moment resonated so strongly, you have to understand what the Today Show really is behind the scenes. It is not just a broadcast. It is a tightly bonded team of people who share early mornings, breaking news stress, live television mistakes, and career-defining moments together. Over time, those shared experiences create something closer to family than coworkers. Savannah Guthrie has been part of that family for years. She has celebrated milestones there, she has covered national tragedies there, she has laughed, cried, and lived in that space. So when she suddenly vanished from her chair, the absence felt personal. Feldman's presence bridged that gap. He was, in many ways, standing in for Savannah, letting her colleagues know that even though she could not physically be there, she felt their support, that she noticed it, that it mattered. This visit also revealed something rarely seen in public narratives about television personalities. It showed the invisible network of care that surrounds people we see on screen. Viewers often forget that anchors are human beings first. They have parents, children, spouses, fear, exhaustion, and when crisis strikes, they rely on others just like anyone else does. At the center of this crisis is the ongoing search for Savannah's mother. As the investigation unfolded, the family made the painful decision to speak publicly, sharing updates that grew more somber with time. Savannah acknowledged that there were signs suggesting her mother may no longer be alive, even as the family continued to search and hope for answers. That emotional tension has been unbearable. Imagine waking up every morning not knowing where your parent is. Imagine waiting for phone calls that may change everything. Imagine trying to protect your children from fear while carrying your own. In that context, it becomes clear why Savannah stepped away from the show and why Feldman stepped in. Reports suggest that Feldman has been traveling between states, balancing responsibilities at home with supporting Savannah as she remains close to her family during the investigation. That kind of emotional and physical juggling takes a toll, which makes his decision to still show up at the Today Show even more meaningful. He did not come to ask for anything. He did not come to explain timelines. He did not come to answer questions. He came to say thank you. And sometimes, that is the most powerful thing a person can do. Inside the studio, people reportedly felt seen, their quiet efforts were acknowledged, their compassion was returned. In a profession where empathy often flows one way from screen to audience, this moment reversed the direction. It also reinforced why Savannah Guthrie has remained so respected within the industry. Not just because of her talent, but because of the relationships she has built. People do not show up like this for someone who has not earned it. They show up for someone who has treated them with humanity over the years. Viewers watching from home may never see this moment replayed. There was no on-air segment, no recorded clip, but the impact of that visit will likely linger far longer than any broadcast. As of now, Savannah Guthrie has not announced when she will return to the anchor desk, and no one close to the situation expects her to rush back. This is not a scheduling issue. It is a life-altering event. The focus remains on her family, the investigation, and finding some form of closure, whatever that may look like. Meanwhile, the Today Show continues, carrying Savannah's presence even in her absence. Co-anchors fill in, segments move forward, but there is a shared understanding that when Savannah returns, she will not be the same person she was before this happened, and that is okay. Mike Feldman's visit served as a reminder of that truth. That behind the polished studio lights and rehearsed transitions are people holding each other together. That sometimes the most meaningful messages are delivered quietly. That gratitude expressed at the right moment can bring a room to tears. In a media world driven by spectacle, this story stands out precisely because it was not meant to be a story at all. It was a husband thanking coworkers for caring about his wife when her world fell apart. And in the end, that is why this moment mattered. Not because it happened at the Today Show. Not because Savannah Guthrie is famous. But because it revealed something deeply human. When life breaks, community matters. When words fail, presence speaks. And sometimes the most special message is simply this: thank you for being there.